I've chosen as my text a verse from the precepts addressed by St. Paul to Timothy as to the conduct necessary in a good spiritual guide and pastor. St. Paul tells Timothy, as he tells all of us, study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. I stand here as a very humble chaplain, seeking only to serve the needs of my bishop and win his approval. And yet, as I stand here, I also see myself in the vision of St. Paul as a workman, rightly dividing the truth in such a way as to meet with the approval of God. But how are we to divide the word of truth? What is the word of truth? How do we know which is God's truth and which is a false truth? We've just listened to some splendid music. And indeed, many of us joined in that self-same music, and no doubt many of you heard in that music God's truth. Certainly, we were in the presence of beauty. Of that, there is no question. But God's truth, I wonder a little, is there not a danger that the outward ceremonies become more important than the inner meaning? That the wonderful music and fine singing tend to obscure rather than illuminate the Word of God? I do not make dogmatic statements, but simply, and with great humility, put the question, are we in danger of losing sight of the truth? In the Middle Ages, to be sure, the religion of the multitude was an affair of the imagination. The Word of God was adorned with melody, with pretty pictures, even with magical properties. But this is not the Middle Ages, and we are not a multitude of illiterate peasants. This is the age of reason. The 19th century, when the achievements of our great scientists and engineers placed wonders in our midst that our medieval ancestors would have looked upon as miracles. But our scientists and our engineers do not make miracles, they apply reason and logic. And it is my humble belief that the 19th century Christian must approach his faith in the same way. We must not only believe, but digest. We must not only hear, but we must understand. Consider the words of our morning service. How apposite, how intelligible, how reasonable. But most of all, when they are read with simple and distinct decorum. And is not that meaning lost when those simple, reasonable words are obscured with melody and descant, chorus and incantation? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word. Not music, not incantation, not meretricious melody. God is the Word. And the Word is God.